All right, here we go. Mr. G here to do the lesson with you. Everything I do, you need to be doing it on your paper. Okay, here we go. Now, if you want to work through this on your own and then go back and look over it, that's fine. But you need to watch this video all the way through either way. Okay, you need to watch the entire video. This is me teaching you just as if I was there. Okay, so here we go. Be sure you put your name and the date. And here we go. Okay. Now I'm going to change the color because I know y'all are used to the color being green. All right, here we go. First one. Jada is traveling to visit her aunt who lives 789 miles away. She needs to travel 321 more miles to arrive at her aunt's house. Which representations can be used to find the number of miles Jada has already traveled? Okay, so we know that they're visiting her aunt who lives 789 miles away. Okay. Okay, so 789 miles away. She needs to travel 321 more miles to get to her house. Which representations can be used to find the number of miles Jada has already traveled? So we have a strip diagram, we have an equation, and we have number lines. So we want to find each one of those. Okay. So if we're drawing a strip diagram, we'll go ahead and we'll draw it. Okay. Now remember, if I'm going too fast, pause the video. If you need to rewind it, rewind it. Do whatever you need to do. Okay. So strip diagram. We know that the total is what? Right, 789 miles away. Why? Because that's how far they're traveling. Okay. So we know that 789 needs to go in the whole or the total part. Okay. Now we have 321 more miles to arrive at her aunt's house. So we have 321 more miles to go. Now, do we know how many she's traveled already? No. That would be what we would be taking away from 789. So, question mark. Okay. Now let's go to our equation. We know we're going to have to do what? Add, subtract, or multiply and divide. Well, if you look, it's 3 and 3 numbers. So we're not going to multiply and we're not going to divide because I have not shown you that. So we're either going to add it or subtract. Okay. Now, if we add them, we would have a new total. It wouldn't be 789 because 789 plus 321 would be more than 789. So we're not going to add, we're going to subtract. So if we're going to subtract, we know that it needs to be, oops, I don't know what happened, blank minus blank equals blank. Okay. So we know that 789 is the total, right? So in subtraction, the total needs to go in the front. Okay, so 709 needs to go in the front because it's a total. And it says she needs to travel 321 more miles to arrive. Okay, so we don't know how many miles she's traveled already. So we're going to subtract 321 to find out how many she's traveled already. Okay, so I'm going to stack them and subtract. 789 minus 321. Remember, you don't actually have to subtract. You can add, so count up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 minus 2, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 7 minus 3, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4. 468. Now, how can we verify or prove that this is correct? We add 468 plus 321. 8 plus 1, 9. 6 plus 2, 8. 4 plus 3, 7. They have to match, and they do. Okay, now number line. Okay, so if we're drawing a number line, I'm going to use the whole thing. Okay, we know the total 789, so we have to go to 789. Okay, now, okay, so with this number line, here's where it's going to get a little tricky, so I really need you to pay attention here. Okay, so 789 is our total, so we need to get to 789. 789 is between what hundreds? So in other words, what would be our start point and what would be our end point? 789. So our starting point would be 700 and our end point would be 800, because 789 is in between 700 and 800. So what would be our midpoint? Right, 750. Okay. Now we need to get to 789. So would it be smart to count by ones? No. Twos? No. Fives? No. Tens? Yes. Counting by tens would probably be the best way. Okay. So we have 700, 710, 720, 730, 740, 750. So now I'm going to label it. 710, 720, 730, 740, and 750 is already there. So now we got to get to 800. 750, 760, 770, 780, 790. So 760, 770, 780, 790. Now remember, if I'm going too fast, you can always pause or rewind. Okay. So 789. 789 is going to be between what? 780 and 790. Okay. So 780, 790, what would be the midpoint? 785. So it would be 785, 86, 87, 88, 89, 90. So this would be our end point, 789. Okay. We're going to subtract 321. Now here's where it's going to get really difficult. Okay. We have to take away 321, which means that we're going to go forward more. Is that right? No. We're subtracting, so we're going to go backwards. Okay. Now here's where it's hard, because we have to count 321 spots. Okay. Okay, so here it's really difficult, guys. And if you don't understand, don't worry about it. We'll go over it again on Monday when I get back, okay? So we know our endpoint, our total here was 789. I need to take away 321 going the other way, okay? So what I want to do first is I'm going to work with 21. I'm going to work with tens first, okay? So 789, if I take 10 away, that's going to be 779. So 779 would be about here. So this would be a jump, and that would be minus 10. Okay. Now I'm at 779. So I take 10 more away. That would go to 769. 769 would be about here. So I make another jump, and that's minus 10, and that's 769. Okay, so that takes care of my 20, right? My 20. Now I'm going to take away 1 from 769, and that's 768. Okay, so that takes away my 21. Now I just have 300 left. Okay, so I would go from 768, I would take away 100, and it would be 668, which you can see on my number line kind of messed up. Okay, my number line should have gone further back, but that's okay, and we'll talk about that when I get back. So what we would do is we would take away 100 from 768, and then that would be a jump to 668, and that's 100. Then we would jump another 100, that would be 400, or sorry, 568, and then one more jump of 100, and that would make 468. Okay, and I'll do a better job of drawing Monday when we come back. All right, next page. All right, next page. Okay, now before we get started, okay, Daniel and Cameron, y'all better not be talking to each other. They have to turn around and we'll get to work. Romance, you better be in your seat and doing your work, not playing around. Samaya, you better be staying in your seat and not playing around and talking. All right, here we go. Two sisters collected seashells at the beach. The first sister collected 286 seashells. The second sister collected 58 more seashells than the first sister. Which strip diagram can be used to find the total number of seashells both sisters collected? So, two sisters. First sister collected 286. Second sister collected 58 more. Okay. They want to know which strip diagram can be used to find the total number of seashells both sisters collected. Okay. All right. So first, do we have a total here? Oh, and before I forget, also be sure you put your name on it and the date. I forgot. Okay, total number of seashells. So do we have a total? No, we do not. Why? Right, because the question is asking us the total number of seashells. So they want to know the total. If they want to know the total, then they don't have a total. So let's take a peek at our answers real quick. We know that the total goes in the whole box, which means it covers the whole strip diagram. We do not have a total, so it should be blank. So the first one, 286 is in the whole box, so that is not correct. Number two. On number two, we don't even have a whole box. Okay, we say we have 4 separate boxes, so it cannot be that one either. 3. question mark on the whole, that's what we need. 4, question mark in the whole, that's also what we need. So let's keep going. So we know one sister had 286 and the other one had 58 more. Well, first the sister has to have the same as the other one before they can have more. Think of it like this. If I have $5 in one pocket and I have $5 in the other pocket, right? And then someone else has $3 more. Well, first you have to have the two fives because they're the same, and then the extra 3 would be the extra. So first we have to get to 286 again, and then we have 58 more. Okay, that's can be very tricky. So we need 286, and then we need 58. So let's take a look. Number 3, it has 58 and 286. So we're missing 286, so it's out. 4, we have the 286, and the 58, so that is our answer. Okay. Next page. Last page, I think. I'm not positive. Let me see. No, not the last page. Okay, here we go. Be sure you put your name and the date. All right, here we go. Now, Scarlett Yanelli, I better not be talking over there like you did yesterday. No, you better be in your seat, not messing around since you were so happy I was going to be gone today. Brendan, you better be in your seat working also, not back there talking to Noah and Kyrie. Ariana, you better not be talking with your neighbor over there either. Angelo, now pay attention and work. Here we go. A bookstore had 340 notebooks in stock. During the morning, some of the notebooks were sold. After lunch, 160 notebooks were left. Which answer choice best represents one way to find the number of notebooks sold in the morning? Select all the correct ones. So we had 340 notebooks in stock. Some of them were sold in the morning. After lunch, there was 160 left. Which answer choice best represents one way to find the number of notebooks sold in the morning? Select all the correct ones. So that means there could be more than one, or there probably is more than one. Okay. So 340 notebooks is what they started with. That's what they have. So 340 is their total. Okay. So 340 is the total. So we know that A, in a strip diagram, 340, the total, needs to go in the whole part. Is it? Yes. Okay. Now, is one of the parts 160? Yes. Okay. Now, the other one is blank. It doesn't have a question mark, but it is blank. I don't know if they forgot to put the question mark, but let's say they did forget. So, would this one be correct? Yes. Okay. Now let's look at the next one. B. 340 minus 160. 340 minus 160. Well, 340 is in the front, which it should be the total in subtraction. They're taking away 160, which was how many she had left, in order to find out how many they sold. So, yes, this would also be correct. Now let's look at C. C. Okay. Number line goes to 340 because that's a total 340. Does it go to 340? Yes. Okay. Now it has to go backwards 160. Why? Because that's how many that were left. Okay, so it's like doing 340 minus 160. Okay, so if we look, it goes and it stops at 160. So would that be correct? No, that would not be correct. Okay. Now, the reason that's not correct is because you're taking away 160. You're not going back to 160. Okay. Because if we were to look here and count, they're counting by 20s. Let's see how many they took away. So 20, 40, 60, 80, 100. 20, 40, 60, 80. So they actually subtracted 180. Okay, so that would be out. E, let's look at E. E has 2 going forward and it goes to 340. So what do you think about that one? Did they take away anything? No. This is just something plus something, and we're not going to be adding, we're going to be subtracting. So E would be out, and I skipped D, so let's go back to D. Okay. D is 160 plus 340. Now we said we do have a total, and we said 340 was the total, which means in addition, it should be equals 340. It is not. This should be here in an addition problem. So D is also out. Okay. Now let's look at F. Again, we said 340 was the total. So it should be in the whole. It is not. So F is out. So our answers were A and B. Last page. Sure you put your name and the date. Okay. Name and date. A toy store had 320 action figures in stock. During the morning, some of the action figures were sold. After lunch, 180 action figures were left. Which answer choice best represents one way to find the number of notebooks sold in the morning? Which answer choice best represents one way to find the number of notebooks sold in the morning? Select all the correct answers. So this is telling us that there's probably more than one answer, okay? So, Toy Store had 320 action figures in stock. During the morning, some of the action figures were sold. After lunch, 100 were left. Which answer could be the way to find? Select all the correct ones. Okay. So, again, do we have a total here? Yes. 320 is our total. Why? Because it's telling you how many they had. They had 320 action figures. Okay. So, which answer choice best represents? Okay. So, A is the strip diagram. We know that in a strip diagram, the total goes in the whole part. So if you look at A, it is in the whole part. And the part is 180, and then we have a missing part. So that would be correct. Okay. B. B. 320 plus 180. Well, we know when we add, the total goes after the equal sign, and it is not. So that one is out. Now let's look at C. C is a number line. It goes to 320, yes, which it should because that's our total. Then we have it going backwards to 180. Okay. Now, we know that 180 is what we're going to take away. but that doesn't mean we're going to stop at 180. So let's see how many they actually did. So 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, 20, 40. So they actually only took away, oops, they only took away 140 when we should have taken away 180. So C is out. D, 320 minus 180. Now we know in subtraction, the total should go in the front. So it is in the front. Minus 180. Correct. Now look at E. E has two lines going forward and they stop at 320, which is our total. But are they taking anything away? No. So E is out. F. We have the whole question mark and we had the part 320 and the other part 180. So we know in the strip diagram, we have our total. It goes in the whole part and it is not. So it is out. Okay. All right, now, once everybody finishes the lesson, you will all start on your DOL. Be sure you have your notebooks out, your journals out, and we're doing the work. Remember, you're going to turn all of these papers into Friday, and you'll do your DOL when the sub tells you to do your DOL. Okay? All right.